Hey, welcome to another episode, or maybe your first episode of Inverse Funding. Meet the founder. Let's lift the bonnet up and look under the business. And today we've got Karishma, and Karishma is the founder of Satatland. She's got a really quite unbelievable experience in this industry, and in my opinion, it's outputted a really unique and beautiful product, especially for the fashion space. I'm the CEO of Inverse Funding. We help companies get ready for fundraising rounds, whether it's building pitch decks, finance models. I'm a VC funded founder myself. I've also, had many startups, and I guess I am still a founder because I've got a business with about 15 staff, and it's quite big and busy. But today's about Karishma. So, Karishma, I'd love to share some stories about your background and how you started the company, really.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to share my story as well. To whoever is listening, hi there. I am Karishma. I am the founder of Sutherland Circular Fashion based out of London. In my previous life or this life, I am a fashion technologist. I used to work for large scale apparel manufacturers in the East, in India, in Bangladesh, and Middle East, and I've seen the scale of fashion which is unimaginable to anyone. And then I pivoted to becoming a founder because I saw a problem which is out there in fashion industry, which is the irresponsible management of the product, which is products are moving freely and there's no recycling that is happening. So yeah, I set myself out on this
Very
journey and
cool, very
became a
cool.
founder of
Um,
Sutherland.
I know you've got personal inspirations, but I'm sure there's many inspirations and many problems and within the industry. And I know from our early conversations, I thought something was a problem, and you kind of like, well, maybe, but also not. So, what is the problem that you're really looking to solve, and what's that initial inspiration behind the business?
So the biggest problem that we are looking to solve is that the clothes that are produced and put out in the market is are done so without the consideration of the impact of the product after they are no longer wearable or they are needed. So on the scale, 100 billion clothes are produced annually, which are neither durable nor recyclable. Out of this, 75% goes straight to landfill or incineration. So remaining 25%, which are taken for recycling, reselling, or those sort of things, within that 25%, less than 1% of those clothes are recycled back into new clothes. It is This industry is built on a belief that there is sort of a magic tree out there which will keep pumping resources, and we have unlimited supply of clean water, and we can keep using it for dyeing our products, and we can sustain for longer, maybe next 100 generations, which is just impossible. So we are solving that problem in terms of recyclability, turning that waste into the resources for next product, so we don't take away
Yeah,
more
I
from
mean,
our
that's the
next
same
generations.
feeling that I get when I look at fashion, and I think that we're all guilty in a way because I still go to H&M or Zara, or because the convenience is so high. Um, and I
Yeah.
guess the inspiration. So you've got the problem. Is the
Yeah.
problem the inspiration, or is it a personal passion? Do you think the two are the same?
There are overlying loops within this, the passion or the inspiration. When I started off, I started very young, at the age of 18, 19, in the fashion industry, straight in manufacturing. I studied fashion technology. I started, which was a specialization in large scale apparel manufacturing. I started seeing the scale of manufacturing from textile manufacturers to stitched clothing on a level of 30,000, 40,000 meters per day kind of thing on the fabric, and then same goes on the products itself, making 30, 40,000 products every day. And I saw the social impact of fashion, which is very good, and I worked for certified ethical factories, which were best of the best wages. People, it was changing lives of women who were uneducated. It was putting food on the tables for their two kids within like a week, and that sort of stories when you hear from people who are working in these industries is quite inspiring to how do we continue to keep this loop going. There is nothing, I feel, as a person, there's nothing wrong with the chain of people who are working in the industry, but the management of the product itself. I'm sure you as a consumer, you are going out, you have an important meeting, you definitely want to dress your best. You have a date, you're meeting a person, you want to put your best foot forward in front of that person, right? And then when you're buying a cloth, you are supporting a chain of people as well. You are supporting designers, you're supporting production guys, you're supporting workers, you're supporting farmers who are producing cotton. They are growing those cottons. We cannot like ban the fashion industry to find a solution, which is sort of a common myth that we have to stop buying fashion, it'll solve. No, it won't. It won't solve any
Well, I
problem. We'll
remember
have
when we
more
first
problems of
spoke,
hunger
I
and
said to
poverty
you, I
around the
said,
world.
oh,
It's
the social impact's
mm,
terrible and people are unhappy. And you
mm,
corrected me. You were like, look, I've worked in those places. And I'm telling you, it's some of the happiest places you can ever be. And that shocked me, because that's not what you kind of expect to hear. I don't know, we expect to hear that everyone hates it,
mm,
but it seems quite different in reality.
mm. Yeah. I mean, there are bad apples out there. There are sweatshops out there. There are bad places which are operating everywhere around the world. Let me tell you, even in European countries it's happening. It's not just a Eastern concept. It's about the person who's running the factory, and the ones who are making the product. They will not necessarily make cheap products. They will go and copy Birkin bags because they will get the knockoffs of Birkin bag will fetch them a lot more money than a Walmart's 6 pound or 6 7 pound trouser. So you have to kind of disassociate or like detach this feeling that the necessarily that fast fashion or supermarket brands are bad. They are also good. They are providing loads of opportunity out there, and there are bad
Yeah,
ones out there
for
as well
sure.
who are
So
fooling the system.
transitioning, obviously, this is your first time as a female entrepreneur in the UK, building this business, and as I say, we can get onto that a little bit later. It's impressive, what you've managed to build. Have you had mentors, role models? What's sort of been your support structure coming through this?
So the support structure, I think, I'm deeply grateful for every person who has come on board when I have had nothing. I had just an idea and the spirit of making fashion circular. I had my first mentors in LCF. I did my masters there. They helped me craft the ideas out. There are people who are reached out on LinkedIn, just like, hey, can I interview you for 30 minutes? You are a circular economy experts, and they shared their stories with me. They are also mentors, and I still go back to them after 5 years, like, hey, yeah, this is something that I have found. What do you think about it? Then I joined accelerators. Then I got more professional advisors, more professional mentors, investors, people who are like diehard fans, people who have joined the team. It has been like a sort of a ladder. You have to climb step by step. You start from small, then go to the next step, then go to the next step. And the journey has been life, good and bad. There are days when I'm jumping and happy, and there are
Yeah,
days when I'm like,
yeah.
how do I solve
That's,
this
I mean, to be
biggest
honest with you,
problem?
that's kind of what I expect. There's in industries like this, there are, prominent figures, but you've got passionate people, and passionate people really get attracted to people like yourself who, are real doers, and it's very obvious that given time and resource, you'll get there. So we've spoke obviously a little bit about your background, the inspiration, spoke just a little bit there about the support that you've had. But I guess we haven't spoken about the business and the product that you offer. So do you want to give us a bit of an overview of Satat Land and your product?
So at Sadatlan, we have had a big pivot recently. We started off as a fashion brand where we are making a completely circular fashion business where you could buy or rent regenerative clothing which are made out of materials that have a positive impact on the planet. And then it's up to you if you want to buy them or rent them. We allow you to make that decision because obviously as a customer we are all like, how many times am I going to wear it? And why should I pay the full price for it when I'm only going to wear it once? So that's how I started looking into different avenues of making impact, and I realized that recyclability, once you go on the track, we realized that recyclability is the biggest issue. We need to solve that problem first. So what we are doing is we are making regenerative clothes which are also recyclable. You can buy them from us and get 50% back on in-store credits within 6 months. And also we are on the side on within this project we are building a tracking system within the fashion industry which makes recycling very easy for the sorters with a clothing tag. So they what happens is when a person who's standing in the sorting lines, they are unable to identify what sort of material composition is of the clothes. So it's easy to tell if you have paper, glass, or metal in front of you. But when you have polyesters, you have nylons, and you have silk and wool, acrylic, everything in front of you, the person who's sorting, they cannot tell what the material is because it looks and feels same. So we are making this easy scanning system for recyclers within this clothing brand that they can use, and then our ambition is to work with bigger brands once we have set our proof points here. So I think the listeners who are founders, they will understand that you have to start small and then you have to have a bigger
Yeah,
picture
for sure. I mean, I
as
know
well
we've
when
spoken
you go
about
along.
rental and the rental model, and we're seeing success, in the rental space. So it's obviously attractive. Obviously, the challenges are last mile delivery, and there's still a bit of climate impact that needs to get fixed. I think with that, because if you're running the same dress around, it's using ground miles and human
Yes.
miles. So it's an interesting concept.
Yeah. And even on my personal level, on my understanding of even impact of the sustainability, just having rentals is not going to make an impact because the problem has to be corrected from the source first, that the product itself has to be recyclable. Then you can talk about sharing economy, then you can talk about renting it out, extending the life cycle of the product. And once it's out there, that recyclability element is out there, then we can say rentals is going to make an impact. But with the current model, it doesn't. The current existing products, it doesn't. And we, as just a fashion brand, would not be able to make that impact
I mean, it's the
that
big
I
argument
personally
with
want to see.
rental that it brings down. I remember at the top of the show, you used the 100 million garment figure per year. Is the idea with rental that it brings that down? So if everyone rents everything, it's going to go from 100 million to 10 million. I'm presuming it's not as simplistic as that.
No, for that we'll have to have that similarity of an iPhone structure in the market. Like an iPhone looks the same, everyone wants it, the company produces only one design, maybe five different colors. Next year we'll have a different upgrade with different cameras arranged here and there, and the old ones will go back in recycling, Apple will take it back. With fashion it's very much more personal than that because I have a different body type, you may have a different body type. A dress that looks good on you might not look good on you. You might not feel very good in that. So you have to have a lot of variations in assortments and styles. And once you are making assortments in style, and then you're talking about having inventory that is like a cushion inventory for people, it goes back to
Yeah,
100
yeah.
million levels. One, if not 100 million level, it'll come back to 80 million level. But then again, it's not about having that 80 million pieces because you already have 65 million people, say, in the UK. The problem is those 85 million or whatever that is, it has to go back. It has to go back so that we can make
Got
new
it.
designs for the new next
Got
year.
it. I think that makes sense. And your platform, that's going to be direct to consumer. That is sort of, and I know you've done a line in the past, which I believe sold out. So how does the sort of the platform work from a user perspective?
Yeah. So from our platform, it'll be open to our only our early users who have signed up to our waiting list, who have been with us. We are gonna test the products with you for initial 1 year, and it's not once we go live, we'll only work with people who have signed up, and it will work in a sort of a collaboration manner that okay, you help us say how are you using this product, how are you running this product, how do you feel about this product, how you feel about the recyclability of this product, and then we aim to turn into a
Very
B2B
nice.
business. So for now we're just we're only very small business
Yeah.
who caters to
And
our early users, early adopters, which is sort of
yeah,
an
yeah,
interesting
yeah, it is.
working
And
pattern.
especially when you talk about, as you say, so many SKUs and so many lines and so many, again, you're never going to be able to serve all 6 billion unless we get a universal human outfit, which is just never going to happen. So it does make sense to focus on a group and
Yeah,
nurture that. So yeah,
yeah,
I think the logic is sound. What's some
yeah,
good traction
yeah.
milestones that you're proud of? And traction isn't
Hmm.
all about revenue. Traction comes in many forms. So what's excited you so far along the journey?
So the traction milestones which I am the most excited about. The first is the awareness or the recognition that we've got. We have been awarded the Financial Times Retail Tech Champion on a level with competing with startups who are making like millions and millions in revenue because our innovation is really needed and customers and readers who read it received it very well. We have been accepted in most prestigious accelerators. Like I went to fashion schools. I never thought I'll be invited to University of Cambridge to be on accelerator with them. Not that fashion is here or there. It's just like a sort of a perception, and your parents don't like. I come from an Indian background. They were like, "Ah, you're in fashion. You're not in that." So that was a very very big point. Like you can start any business in any space and you will be accepted in a bigger wider community if you're making an impact. We have won a grant from Innovate UK, which is 150,000 pounds, which is impressive for me as a person. I wrote the grant application. I never thought in our first go that we're going to make it. So those three have been the biggest traction points, and then we have had people who have signed up to the waiting list. We have team that I have built who are really genuinely passionate about making an impact. We have got revenues in our first sold out collection, and so much more. But yeah, every day is a
Yeah, very
new
good.
new milestone for us.
What I mean, in terms of unique selling points, I think that it is interesting because there. Yeah, I've written probably nearly 10 circular fashion decks now, so I've got to, and when I write a deck, I go through the business model, I chat with the founders, I work with them to sort of improve the narratives and so forth. And there's only really a couple of narratives in this space. And, I think the investors in particular are looking for. Yes, they want business models that can work, but they want brands in the space. They want, consumer loyalty recognized. I think that there's so many different different judging points that you're sort of going to be criticized on, I guess. So what do you feel your, unique competitive advantage is?
So our unique competitive advantage at this point is deep industry knowledge of working at scale, working with people who can be price competitive as well. So I have myself produced houses at the cheapest of the cheapest possible level, and I feel this entire knowledge and the team that we can bring in front of investors or anyone who wants to join the brand, because that scale and commerciality of a brand is what makes an impact. If you are only making 100 nice organic cotton t-shirts every year, you're not making an impact because they are selling 100 million non-organic cotton t-shirts. You have to take away that market, and consumers, as much as we like to say consumers vote with how they spend money, they are spending a lot more money in sort of unsustainable, unrecyclable clothing products, which needs to be taken away. And you can only do it when you are
Yeah.
competing at the same level of pricing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Primark
So
or
that
something,
scale.
you know, in the
Yeah.
UK, it was like 3 billion revenue. I mean, the numbers are just insane. They're insane. So yeah, you're right. You know, your little run of 100 cotton
Yeah.
t-shirts, it's not doing anything. It's 100 t-shirts may fall off the lorry, you know,
Yeah.
as they're going to the store. Just
Yeah. A
yeah,
100 t-shirt is like used as a cushion in a factory.
yeah,
Like,
for
okay,
sh
we're gonna sleep on
for
it for
sure.
an hour now.
Um, about
On those levels.
sorry, yeah, no, you.
So that hmm. I was gonna say, like, there's like a myth within the community of sustainability or impact people that if you are making revenues, you're not a sustainable company or you're not a warrior or impact person. I think this has to be removed. You have, like, if you are saying that you can survive by selling a
Yeah.
hundred t-shirts, you're coming from a place of privilege.
I love that your
You're
answer to
not.
that though, you know,
You're
about, you
not
know, what
making
makes you
impact.
unique. Again, we always lead with brand things, and you know, there's many other companies where the answer to that would be, oh, well, we've got a cool rental
Mhm.
model, or we've got a P2P marketplace. You know, it's very product focused. It does make me
Mhm.
smile as yours is all about, your unfair advantage personally in the space, and I think that's a really strong answer.
Mhm.
Um, you mentioned the Innovate grant funding. Is that
Thank
the way
you.
that you funded the business? Do you have any investors in the business currently? Is that what's your sort of experience with fundraising?
So far, I have self-funded the startup. I totally believe in it. I truly believe in it. I have put down my own money in it, which was sort of my wedding
Don't tell
fund.
him. Don't tell him.
So I don't know when I'm getting married, but definitely the startup is happening now. So I use that money to start and fund this business so far. The Innovate UK money kicks in this year, so hooray for that! And we'll start you deploying the capital from May. Investors, we have angel investors now who have put in funds, and this is like sort of first month of funded capital that we have. So, and moving forward, the
Awesome. And
days
do you
look
think now at
brighter.
this
We
stage,
will have more funds.
yeah, do you think now at this
Beg, borrow,
stage,
steal.
angels, institutional investors, where do you see like your true partnership sort of for the next section of your growth? What are you really looking for on your wish list?
So for the next stage of our business, which is more of development and bringing that recyclability system forward, is working with advisors who are angel investors themselves. They put in both their time and money in until we develop the MVP. And once we have got the MVP or a working prototype of the system, we can start looking at VC in investments itself. I'm having VC conversations now, and VCs have started showing interest, and that also takes months to build. And as I'm moving forward, I'm speaking with better VCs who have more ecosystem of fashion brands or businesses that they have within their network, and I would look forward to working with them and hopefully one day have that nice platter of options served in front of us, that these are the ones we're going to work with. But yeah, the ones that I'm looking to work with right now is people who have experience within the industry and they are driven to make this impact with us. Advisors, angel investors, and then moving forward, VCs. We are at our
Hey,
pre-seed level.
I,
We
s- I
haven't
saw
cleared
a,
that. We are pre-seed,
I saw a
pre-revenue,
pre-seed raise,
pre-product
2 million
business.
revenue and 13 million fundraising classified as pre-seed, and I thought, Wow, the world's going mental, you know? Um,
I mean, they can do it. They can do it. If it's a second time founder or it's a serial entrepreneur who are who are there, they can. But if you're a first, I've this is something that I learned by being on this fundraising journey. There's a difference between a first time founder, first time second time founder who's a first time failed founder, and there's a second or a serial founder who has had one or two exits. You raise on a very different level. Your these classes of pre-seed, seed, series A does not
yeah,
apply to you when
very
you're on
true
that
and very
level.
critical. In terms of the funding that comes in, what's the priority? I know obviously you need to produce product, you're going to have to get users, albeit you're doing it in a contained way, to buy it, and you also, are building out the tech ecosystem. So I'm presuming it's a classic pie chart split between the three. But how do you see that? No, how do you see the
How
sort
do
of the
I
use of
see
funds? I
development
mean,
of
is it
the
generally going into users, production, technology, or is it as expected, a bit of a blend?
So we are going on a very, very lean model, so as we have done so far, but it's if it was 1% back then, now it's more like 10% on this level. Most of the funds are gonna go into the tech development, and about 20% would be on new product development. Say 20% on new product development, and we have 50% on the tech, and then we have remaining 30%, which is sort of split between more innovations and research and
Yeah,
development of within the
awesome.
system. But the majority you can say is research and development product which is
Yeah,
physical
brilliant.
clothing development
Well,
and the tech.
anybody who's watching, and I'm going to obviously put this across my channels, I encourage them to reach out to Karishma and have a chat. I think it's really important that you continue to build and grow. And I think there's so many people who could be, really important on that journey. So, like I say, I'll put all of the links below wherever anyone's watching this and make sure that you're totally accessible. But thanks for a great chat, and it's been excellent to have you.
Thank you so much, thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to share our story and our vision.